Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today I wanted to do this lesson on the so-called AI wars, all right, or AI war. And recently there was well, I guess, using the term recently loosely, right? But let's just say recently a lot of attention has come to this new AI, platform by China known as Deepseek. And pretty much the talk is that they were able to do, what these other um, AI, platforms that have been created by companies like Google or, you know, uh, OpenAI or Microsoft and all that. Pretty much they said that this Chinese platform was able to build this model that is in some cases better, all right, and on par with some of these other top models, but with much less, with significantly less amount of money, and leveraging and using not the highest state of the art chips and technology, but they were still able to do it. And they made it open source. Open source meaning that it's basically free. Like anybody can go and use it and get access to the code behind it and all of that. And you don't have to pay for it. As where something like, some of these chat GPT models are proprietary, right? So you have to pay, if you want to use, say, like the newest O1 model or something like that. So a lot of people are already, jumping on the DeepSeek model hype, and it's not looking good for some of these American companies here. But as we're reading this article here, this is really just a trigger similar to how you had the arms race. Now you have like a technology race, right? An AI race for who can gain the upper hand in this back and forth here, right? For so long, it was looked at as the U.S. having this like, the top, with the release of like Google Gemini and Chat GPT and so on. The U.S. was looked at as like the top dog with that. But now with China's, release of this, a lot of people are sort of like, damn, that's like a wake up call. And so, I just wanted to make mention that regardless of the who comes out with what, whether it's China, whether it's the U.S., whether Europe joins in, whether some other country, out of nowhere, maybe freaking the Middle Eastern countries, maybe the Saudi Arabia or one of the countries over there comes out with some new joint, But the point is, when you have these kinds of races, it's like a catalyst that speeds up whatever the focus, that is being presented here, whatever it is, it speeds it up a lot in terms of a lot of advancements, because now people start to, let me put it like this: in a time of war, people are investing in war, right? In a time of peace, it's more investing in things that will, boost your economy, whether it's like, if you go back some time, it's like agriculture and like R&D and so on. In the time of AI, it's AI, right? So you say China releases this, then these other nations are looking at it and they're like, yo, we got to top that. And then before you know it, the standard of what you thought was already maybe invasive enough, right, or already scary enough in terms of um, how quickly this technology is advancing, especially in the sector of AI. Now that goes out the window. Now that goes out the window, and now you're dealing with like, you know, that's how you go from freaking conventional warfare to nuclear war, right? You go trying to advance and advance and advance until you invent something that just goes past the bar And now you're like, whoa, what's going on here? So, I'm looking at this from the sense of, and I'm going to bring this out real quick, Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. And it reads, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end," which we're at now, right? We're at the very end. "Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." Okay, and we're seeing that a lot. Matter of fact, let me look into this word increased. But we're seeing that, more specifically, looking at the tech sector, right? Technology is greatly increasing, right? Of course, with other things, but a lot of these technological advances, it's been like a warp speed, of these new advances in here, and it looks like the next hot topic, just been for some time now, is artificial intelligence. Okay, now you have companies that are building humanoid robots, right? That will be powered by artificial intelligence. So that gets you a step closer to something like this, iRobot, right? Movie. This guy right here. Okay, in case you haven't watched this movie, it's a pretty interesting one. You can check it out. But these humanoid robots here are pretty much, you know, built, right? And eventually they turn red, right? And they start going after humans and stuff, enslaving them and all of that. Um, but pretty much, that's the push that's going on. So when the world starts to focus and goes down this path, you can imagine that the old traditional conventional like way of doing things goes out the window, because now all the technological standards become are get raised, and it's a very dangerous path when you go down, the AI rabbit hole, because that's how you end up in these dystopian futuristic, movie scenes, these Black Mirror movie scenes, where no longer are you dealing with humans and so on and so forth. You're just dealing with machines. All right, so let me read this a bit here. It says U.S. Navy bans Deepseek over security concerns as substantial evidence emerges. Chinese AI ripped off ChatGPT. Yeah, basically they said what they did was, instead of spending billions of dollars and all this money to train the model, because that's how it works. They build this model, right? And it's basically just like code algorithms, and then they train it with data. So just any information that it can receive, they train it. Okay, how many different ways can somebody ask you how you're doing? And how can you recognize that that's what the person is trying to ask you, and then what's an appropriate response for that? That's how they train these models. It's like raising a child, and teaching them things. But they do this very quickly with a whole lot of information, all from the internet. So what these people did at DeepSeek was, instead of just doing what ChatGPT did, right, getting all this information from different websites and so on, they just decided to just leverage what was already built and done, known as ChatGPT, and then build off of that, and sort of just like, all right, let me just train my model based off of yours. So you do the hard work, and I'll take the benefits, and then do even better work, right? Um, so you can imagine that there's some people that are pretty unhappy about that. But anyway, it says the U.S. Navy has instructed service members to avoid using the Chinese AI platform DeepSeek, citing potential security and ethical concerns, according to CNBC. And I mean, then again, too, right? This has caught a lot of hype, and a lot of people have like downloaded it on their phones. A lot of them have, you know, gone to the site, used it because it's open source, it's free. But then you have to also think, right? This is a very interesting name, Deep Seek. And so does it stop at just, oh, it's just a simple thing that I downloaded, a simple thing that I tested out, or does it have something else towards it? Does it, I don't know, plant something, right? Does it gather some more information? Who knows? But we'll find out soon enough. It says here, an email sent to shipmates in recent days, confirmed by CNBC on Tuesday, referenced the Navy's AI policy, and emphasized the importance of refraining from using DeepSeek. Now, it definitely looks to be that this AI might be playing a key role in the beast system, in terms of the infrastructure, right, in which you have these like smart cities, right? You have these, which i.e. 15-minute cities, you know, you have the advancement of like technology, you have like IoT, Internet of Things, and as we know in prophecy pertaining to Revelation 13 and 16, you have the CHIP, okay? And so the infrastructure that governs like making you a smart person, because then that's the Internet of Bodies at the end of the day, right? So Internet of Bodies connected to the Internet of Things, connected to the smart cities, and now you're just like in this like Internet of Worlds, where everything is just connected via technology, you know. Well, you can very well bet your socks that, you know, AI is going to be in the midst of that, playing a key role. Um, all right. So it says here, the memo warned service members against using the platform for any work-related tasks or personal use and instructed them to avoid downloading, installing, or using the DeepSeek model in any capacity. And when you start to, humans make errors, humans make mistakes. Humans, you ever watch a movie or a show where somebody's trying to break into some top secret area, and they're able to like do enough research to time when the guards might be switching, shifts, or when one of them uses the bathroom or falls asleep or isn't looking at one specific camera, so they're able to manipulate it. Good luck doing that with AI, because AI is not using eyes. AI is the actual camera. Like it's what I mean by that is it's like directly connected to that, and it can see all that. It never needs to use the bathroom. It's not blinking. It's not hungry. It's not getting distracted. So now you're dealing with like an absolute beast, that just never sleeps. It's super fast, much faster than you, moves faster than you can think. So, when you build a prison and your warden is a freaking AI, you're cooked. It says, the warning follows the recent rise of DeepSeek's R1 model, which has gathered or garnered significant attention worldwide, particularly within the U.S. business and technology sectors. And I know this can sound, pretty technical to those that are not really into it, and it's like, yeah, I always hear this like AI stuff, but I would implore you to at the very bare minimum, just maybe look up these things and just see what is the talk about, what does this mean, because it will affect your life at some point, and if by then you want to now go and try to take a look, maybe you're faced with a certain decision, and that lack of information might not help you as much when trying to make that decision. So unfortunately, this is the world we live in today, and so it's important to be aware of how it's advancing, financially, tech, yeah, the tech way, you know, and just being aware at least to some degree of what's going on and how are these things working. Now, this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 5, verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small, right? And that's very important. So though something may not pique your interest, or it just may be like, oh, it's a lot of hype, I don't like to hear about it or get into it, you probably should look into it, because those small things, at least to you, might be much bigger things that will affect you, you know? Says here, the R1 model has demonstrated capabilities comparable to OpenAI's models. Cool. Good stuff. Yeah, so a lot of, like, I'm going to read this part here, but a lot of these companies are taking a big hit. Shares of AI CHIP makers, NVIDIA and Broadcom, plummeted by 17% on Monday, wiping out a combined $800 billion in market value. NVIDIA has since recovered some of its losses. So what is this basically leading to? That's the point. What is this leading to? And I'm going to jump down to that point here. Here we go. It says here, President Donald Trump has said that Deepseek should be a wake-up call for U.S. tech companies. This statement by Trump is very important or stands out because when you look at the energy and the mindset that Trump is coming with, it's like a very nationalistic mindset. And that's like the US at one point being known as like this world superpower. That's where he wants to take it back to, right? When he says make America great again, he wants it to be the powerhouse. And so his mindset is for a good amount of time, right? These other nations have gotten some advances. The US has been sort of, lingering in the back, right? Whether it was like CBDCs or just any of these advances, these technological advancements, it's like the U.S. has been sort of taking a back seat, and so he's on some like f all of that, basically I'm here to put you all in your place kind of thing, and that's why he's moving so, just like you want to mess around, then we'll hit you with more of this, and basically make you tap out by force. Forget the diplomatic this and that. No, no, no. We here and we changing business. That's sort of like the energy that you see. So when he says this should be a wake up call, it sounds like he's more so like we're America. We're ready to go toe to toe, tit for tat with you. And if you think that just because you released X, Y, and Z, that that's just gonna make us take a back seat, well then maybe you need to be put in your place. That's sort of in my take. That's how it sounds to me. All right. So we'll see, but that's going to lead into a race, right? An AI war or an AI race, because now you have this back and forth, and sometimes you do something, your competitor does it better, then you look at what they did and you say, oh, let me switch up what I did, and then put it on steroids, and then it's just back and forth. It says here the release of DeepSeek AI from a Chinese company should be a wake up call for our industries that we need to be laser focused on what? On competing, the president told reporters ahead of a planned speech before Republican lawmakers in Florida. And that is the main point right there. What do you think happens, right? Put it like this. If you have one country that like this statement that's made over here. When you say you're laser focused on competing, you're basically saying we need to now be, in essence, the AI top dog, right? We should have the best versions. We should have the top of the top. That means we need to prioritize that. And if you need to prioritize that, what does your country eventually start to look like when you start prioritizing this? You know, when you to put it on another example, if you have say two gangs that start going back and forth with each other, right? Maybe they start off with fist fights, then it goes to knives, right? And then it goes to guns. Maybe it starts with like handguns and so on, pistols and whatnot. If they start going back and forth saying, yo, this other gang went and got, they got like Glocks, whatever, we got to go get ARs, and then they went and got, a higher advanced version of ARs. We got to get like machine guns and freaking RPGs. Eventually, you go from like by the time you stop where you turn around and you're like, all right, we are the top dogs, you probably have gotten your hands on freaking nuclear weapons, because you just kept going tit for tat until one of you just couldn't keep up. But now you've pretty much turned from a gang, a local street gang, into a whole military while doing this back and forth with this other gang. And that's the point. When you turn around, you're no longer seeing, your homeboys or that be on the block smoking weed. You were so focused on upgrading your, I don't know, your firepower. Then now you turn around and you freaking got like arsenals of, nukes and bombs and grenades and military grade weapons because you were so focused on competing with this other gang, right? So that's the point that I'm making here. By the time they turn around and say, we're in a position where, we've showed them, that we're at the top. We've competed and we're in a high good position. You're turning around and you're seeing like smart cities. You're seeing, that Palm Pay at Stop and Shop on a whole nother level. That's nothing. You're seeing cashiers being replaced by AI. Whether it's humanoid robots like what you're seeing on this side, And humanoid means it looks like a human, um, and or it's just automated checkout, whatever. All of those small things, you're gonna see them really ramp up like it's on steroids because that's what an AI arms race looks like. Anyway, I'm gonna end it there. Just wanted to say a few words on that. And it's pretty interesting, that this is looking like a catalyst, right, to really speed up the advancement of technological infrastructure, not just in the US, but really around the world. So we'll see, right? Let's see how things turn out and the direction in which things go. But we know ultimately and eventually it's going to lead all right back to prophecy. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.